So obviously, if you are a free-to-play player and you want to play a new deck from the new box, it's gonna be Centurion. Don't worry, I will make a video on this deck in the future. This deck is pretty good, a lot better than Labyrinth, and it is completely self-contained within the new box. And it works basically with only one opening of the box, because Primera is the only ultra rare in the entire deck. But today we're looking at Labyrinth because I like this deck a lot more. I've played this deck in the TCG and Master Duel. In fact, this is the first ever TCG deck that I've ever played. I played this deck ever since I think Lady Labyrinth first came out in the TCG, and I've played this deck ever since. This deck is a lot weaker in Duel Links, not only because we only have 3 back row spots, we also don't have Lady Labyrinth and Arias and Rollback and a lot of the other good traps like Dominus Impulse, Daruma Karma Cannon, so we are basically forced to play like the day 1 version of Labyrinth in the TCG, except we have Big Welcome Labyrinth, which is nice, I guess, but the deck is still missing a lot of pieces, and the deck also doesn't have a skill, so we're still playing the Odeon skill. And the thing about the Odeon skill is, even though it's pretty good because it allows you to have Temple of the Kings, which means you can activate the Big Welcome Labyrinth to turn it is set, and also it lets you search Kaijus, which is really, really important in a meta where everybody is summoning 2 Quasar Dragons on turn 1. This conflicts with your deck somehow. First of all, you cannot use the effect where you have to control a continuous trap because this deck has 0 continuous traps. And the second issue is that you have no way of getting rid of your Temple of the Kings, because usually you can use the continuous trap skill effect to bounce back the Temple of the King so that you have free spell and trap zones for you to set free. But because you can't do that, you can only set 2 at the most. Your third zone will be clogged by your continuous spell, which is not ideal, but it is still a lot of interruptions that you can set up by having your 2 traps, your lovely lab on the field, and also your Big Welcome Labyrinth in your graveyard. So I mean, it's still not too bad. We'll quickly go over the deck list. We are playing, of course, the 1 Sphere mode and the 1 Kaiju for the skill to search. We're playing 1 lovely Labyrinth. People used to play 2 copies in day 1 Labyrinth built in the TCG, but because we have Big Welcome Labyrinth, we don't need to do that. This card allows you to pop a card from the field or in your opponent's hand whenever you use a normal trap effect to remove a monster from the field. This kind of effect trigger is going to be prevalent in a lot of the Labyrinth cards. A lot of them trigger whenever you remove a card, remove a monster from the field using a normal trap effect. And this card lets you basically pop another card or hand rip. And also it has a second effect to allow you to reset trap cards, but you can only use the trap card effects when you control a fiend monster, which is something that you should remember because it will come up. Next is Ariana. We're playing 2 copies in the free-to-play version, and this card, when a normal or special summon, allows you to add a Labyrinth card from your deck to your hand. Labyrinth, Chandra Liger, and Stovey Torby allows you to set your Labyrinth trap cards or your field spell from your deck by discarding itself plus another card. And it can also send from field as well, which comes up when, especially when you're using Stovey Torby, because it summons back itself whenever you remove a monster with a trap effect. Chandra Liger is a little bit less good, it only adds itself back to the hand, but more access to engine is always good in this deck. We also have 1 Crew Clock. It honestly doesn't come up too much because you already have your Temple of the Kings to let you activate traps to turn it as set, but sometimes it's still nice to have another name you can search, and also it does summon itself back whenever you pitch with your furniture effects, so at the very least it is still a free body. We have 1 field spell. The field spell lets you pop another card whenever you activate a Welcome Labyrinth trap card, which includes Welcome Labyrinth or Big Welcome Labyrinth. It basically imbues this additional effect onto your Welcome Labyrinth trap card, which gives it the effect to pop a card when it is activated in addition to the special summon, which basically treats it as a normal trap card effect, which will trigger all of your other stuff. And also, whenever you activate a non-Labyrinth trap card, you get to revive a Fiend monster. I guess you can also summon from hand, but usually you're reviving. So this revives not only Lovely Labyrinth, but you can also revive silly stuff like Chaos Angel, which will trigger its on-summon effect. Next are the 15 trap cards that you have to play to make the skill activatable. Definitely you will want to play as many big Welcome Labyrinths as you could. This card is really, really important. It's basically the centerpiece of the entire deck. But if you only have one copy like I do, it is still technically playable, even if it's not optimal. This card lets you summon Labyrinths from basically anywhere, from your hand, deck, or graveyard, and then bounces a card that you control back to your hand. This sounds like a detriment, but it does allow you to trigger basically all of your Labyrinth effects when a normal trap card removes a monster from the field, which gives you more benefit than it hurts you. And also when in the graveyard, you can banish itself whenever you control a Fiend monster to bounce one of your own cards, but if you control a level 8 or higher Fiend, you get to bounce one card your opponent controls instead. So whenever you have your Lovely Labyrinth or Chaos Angel, this card in the graveyard is also another form of interruption. You can only use one of these effects per turn. You can't use both at the same turn, which is something that you want to keep in mind. Next is Welcome Labyrinth. This is the less good version of Big Welcome Labyrinth. You can special summon only from your deck using this card, but it has the additional effect to reset itself whenever you remove a monster with a normal trap card effect. So this is the one that gives you basically the grind game that the deck needs, and gives you basically a constant stream of monsters to summon. Honestly, it gets a lot better when you have Lady Labyrinth, because it gives you more things to summon, and then it triggers the Lady Labyrinth again and again, but even in a world without it, it's still pretty good. And then next are all of the normal trap cards that we are playing. So, obviously, if you have the limit-free trap cards, I mean like the previously limited free trap cards, you should play those. I'm talking about stuff like, hold up. I'm talking about stuff like Compulse, Terrace of the Overroot, Ice Dragon's Prison. So, you know, if you have been playing Duel Links for 3 or 4 years, you know about all of these trap cards. These are the quote-unquote the limit-free trap cards that are all the really good trap cards in their time, which have a high impact and get rid of monsters. Cards like Crackdown and Lost Wind and Dogmatica Punishment are also options. Dogmatica Punishment is good, even if it locks you from your extra deck, because you honestly don't need to go into your extra deck. As you can see, we're only playing 4 monsters to demonstrate the fact that you don't really need your extra deck. But Lost Wind and Crackdown are less good. Crackdown, you probably shouldn't even play it either. Lost Wind at least is a normal trap, but it doesn't remove a monster. So we want normal trap cards that remove monsters from the field. Obviously, if you have, if we eventually get Lady Labyrinth into the game, you can play basically any normal trap card like Different Dimension Ground, because you can search it with Lady Labyrinth. But currently, our best options are going to be Compulse, which can use on any monster on the field to get rid of it, Ice Dragon's Prison, which gets rid of both a monster on the field and in the graveyard, and Terrace of the Overworld, which you can choose to get rid of back row as well. So these are the best options if you have them. But the things that we are playing in this cheap version are the cheap ones. So we are playing Traptrix Trap Hole Nightmare and Void Trap Hole, both of which are available with box chips. We're playing the Archfiend's Ghastly Glitch, which is from the same box as the Labyrinth stuff. It is technically not a Labyrinth card, but it basically is a Labyrinth card, as you can even see the Labyrinth monsters in the card artwork. This lets you pop a card by sending a Fiend from your deck to the graveyard, but you need to control a Fiend monster, so it looks better than it actually is. Even back then, in the TCG, when this card first came out alongside the Labyrinth stuff, it is only okay, because you do need to control a Fiend monster to activate this card, and it is something that your opponent can Ash Blossom, so it's only okay. We also have 3 copies of Centurion Phalanx, which is from the same box as Labyrinth and is technically generic. You don't even need to control a Centurion to activate this card, it just allows you to banish any monster on the field until the next standby phase, and then you summon it back to the owner's field. So another really cheap way to get rid of a monster on the field and trigger all of your effects. I will quickly talk over the extra deck as well. Chaos Angel is pretty easily summonable by using a copy of Lovely Labyrinth plus a Stovey Torby. Ideally, you don't actually want to do this because Lovely Labyrinth is obviously a pretty good card on the field, and it's going to be a lot easier to summon when Lady Labyrinth is added to the game because you can just use that instead. And also, when Arias is available, you can also go Arias plus Ariana, which is 6+4. But Chaos Angel does provide you with a form of removal that the deck otherwise struggles with. So if you've played this deck in the TCG or Master Duel, you know that removal during your own turn is kind of difficult. If your opponent has like a really big setup and you want to get rid of as much as you could, and one of the ways is obviously Lovely Labyrinth being able to pop one on whenever you get rid of a card, and maybe if you have access to the field spell you can destroy another card, but oftentimes you really would want to banish from Chaos Angel. Another way you can get rid of a card is with the Link 5 White Woman jump scare, which we're not playing because, again, it is a cheap version, but it is a Fiend, which means you can use it under the lock of Welcome Labyrinth. And also you can use Moon of the Closed Heaven to link a second opponent's monster for the summon of Underworld Goddess. Muckracker not only is able to summon back your Lovely Labyrinth when it ends up in your graveyard, which is especially important if you're only playing one big welcome, it can also summon back Chaos Angel. So a common thing you would do all the time in the TCG is you use your Lady Lab plus your level 2 Stovey Torby, make Chaos Angel, you banish one, and then you link off the Chaos Angel plus any other guy to make Muckracker, discard a card, summon back the Chaos Angel, and fun fact, Chaos Angel can banish a card whenever it is special summoned, and that can trigger regardless of it is synchro summoned or summoned with Muckracker or even the field spell, which lets you summon back a Fiend. Even though it won't have the protection because it is not synchro summoned with anything, it will still be able to banish a card on summon, which is really good. Other things you can play are the Nightmare cards, because those are Fiends as well. So Nightmare Phoenix and Nightmare Unicorn are both really good cards that you could play if you have those. But even if you don't, the deck is still really self-contained without the extra deck, so you can very easily play basically anything that you want in the extra deck, or even Dogmatica punishment targets if you are playing this card in the main deck as well. So yeah, let's have a look at some replays. Okay, in our first replay, we're playing against Sky Striker, and we are going second, because if I show you the game plan of going first, it's just going to be set free and pass, and that's pretty boring. At least we are going to be able to do something interesting when we go second. Opponent is going to go through their Link monsters, just stacking up the graveyard. They're going to activate a spell card while Kaina's on the field just to gain a tiny bit of life points before using the skill to draw a card. They're going to make Kagari, you know, add back the spell card and engage again, blah blah blah. We're just holding our Stovey Torby for the end phase to be able to set the big Welcome Labyrinth to our field after they have already done their entire combo. So they go end phase, Shizuku add a Shock Cannon. This is where we can activate Stovey Toby. We're gonna send the trap card, Welcome Labyrinth, to set a big Welcome Labyrinth, and then we can, at the beginning of our turn, put the Temple of the Kings on our field. He's gonna go and Hallowed Life Arrow. That's completely okay. We don't intend to win this turn. We're gonna add and summon it and add the thing that we summoned with Big Welcome, which will trigger both the Toby in the graveyard and the Welcome Labyrinth. And then, still in draw phase, by the way, we can go and pitch the Chandra Liger to set the field spell. And then add the Kaiju, immediately get rid of our opponent's monster. And then that allows us to get rid of the Shizuku even when they have the Ego Booster protecting it. We will attempt to hand rip, but he negates it with his Widow Anchor. That's no big deal. Even though it prevents us to reset a trap, we still have plenty of traps in our hand which we can set. And then with 2 cards in his hand, he can't beat Labyrinth follow-up, so he will be scooped. Alright, this time we are playing against an actual good deck, which is the Stardust deck that everyone seems to be playing in this current meta. This deck is kind of ridiculous. Maybe I'll make a video on it if I feel like it. But the deck is basically just Omni Negate Turbo. It is entirely carried by the skill, unlike basically every meta deck in Duel Links right now. It truly does some really ridiculous things, but I mean nothing that's unbeatable with the one searchable sphere mode that we're playing. And even if they play around the sphere mode by only ending on 2 monsters, we can still get rid of one of them. So we could try to Stovey Toby before he makes the Omni Negate, but I figured it's probably better to keep the Stovey Toby in our hand and then just use it in our own turn after we have the Temple of the Kings. Doesn't make too much of a difference anyway, and it makes sure that we have guaranteed access to combo, because if our opponent has like a way to pop it, we would have no way to do our combo. So we're going to draw a card. He's going to go immediately Converging Wishes to allow him to activate Shooting Star to pop our Temple of the Kings. But that's okay. That's 3 monsters I see, and now they're all gone. Nice end board. He's gonna go and summon back his Stardust using his Shining Star Dragon to make a Crimson Dragon, but because he doesn't have any other Synchros on the field, it doesn't really do anything for him. It just is chilling on the field. I guess it grabs in Synchro Rumble, but I don't think that does a lot either. I'm more than happy to just set free and pass. In our opponent's draw phase, we're going to activate our Welcome Labyrinth just to get a Fiend on the field to enable our Ghastly Glitch. You will imperm on the same column as the Ghastly Glitch, which is completely fine because we can still chain it. We'll get rid of the Synchro while it is still not protected by Rumble. And then he just doesn't have enough follow-up to win, so he is going to be scooping. So yeah, I guess the deck is still playable, even though it's not good. But I will be making a video on Centurion soon, and that deck is a lot more playable than this deck. Anyway, thanks for watching, and goodbye.